Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Jack Lane. Welcome back to a brand new video. I know the videos have not been coming out like they used to be in March time, but I'm sort of getting back up and running here for the April month. You know, not been covering much news, but that's just because I've been very much excited, just watching a lot of TV, catching up on things, and just getting ready for, you know, stuff to talk about. Anyway, in today's video, we're going to talk about Doctor Who Season 2, Episode 1, and I really was a little bit after the Christmas special last year. I watched that, and it was another, you know, it was another one where I was like, I watched it because it was Stephen Moffat who wrote it. I watched it thinking this is going to be good, and that didn't really do much for me. Again, Doctor Who is still this high budget Disney show going into season 2. I had some complaints, okay? I had just some complaints about it. And they're not major complaints, but today's episode, the first episode that I actually watched at like 1 o'clock, so I don't know why I'm recording it very late at night. But the first thing that I really did miss in that episode was Ruby. A character that I think we should have had in the first episode. Because we got attached to her from Ncuti's first Christmas special in 2023. Then we got attached to her throughout the whole of season 1. And I don't know. The Christmas special, I thought last year was missing something. And I think it was her. Ruby Sunday, I think, is amazing. And she's only amazing because she played with Millie Gibson, who is an amazing actress. So there was a part of me going into this where I thought, I don't know, I just had this feeling going in that maybe I wasn't going to be all too happy because the companion that we got to know was taken, isn't in this episode, but we know she's in the season, so, there is that. It's not like a full Rose Tyler getting to know a new companion, but even then the companions were a bit more compelling. So the companion actually in the very first shot, it always opens with the companion, doesn't it? Never the Doctor. Or the damsel, we should say. The companion in the very first scene where you're exploring her character and the relationship that she has with this guy called Alan. She seemed very ungrateful because he bought her a star. It's something that he's interested in, and maybe she's not, but she seemed a little ungrateful when it was like, oh, show me the gift. Oh, it's a star. And there was a part of me that was expecting the TARDIS to come crash landing, and the star that they'd named was actually the TARDIS, and that be the TARDIS's connection. But anyway, that star thing in the beginning of the story, the thing that she was so ungrateful for, really led into the whole narrative of this episode. And the episode as a whole, I thought, was good. Okay? I'm not saying it was terrible. But there was things that I liked and things that I didn't. Another thing I didn't like was 18 minutes in before the Doctor starts getting teary-eyed again. Someone he'd known for 6 months has perished in front of him, right? Because he's been on this planet for 6 months. And, losing a friend is upsetting. But there comes to a point where I'm watching this, and we have it wasn't as long as I thought it was actually going to be when you start getting teary-eyed, but you get that sense of teary-eyed, and you're just like, come on, let's get to the story now, because this is still the opening act of the planet. Also, this episode felt very Star Warsy, with the robots, the humans, the bad guys, and the villain as well, seemed a bit Star Warsy in my eyes. But also, we'll get on to the villain in a second. Overall, the story, the season opener for this Doctor Who, season 2, it's better than season 1's opener. And they had 2 openers, right? But Space Babies for season 1 was awful. I can't remember the name of this episode, which is really bad. But I think it's... Let me get it up. I should have wrote that down in my notes, to be honest. But I was charmed by it because I was going in thinking, oh God, we're going to have another Space Babies. But actually, it was, it was a lot better than that. Anita Dobson's character, Miss Flood, she's gone to... she has gone on ahead and is now living next door to the new companion, which I thought was pretty charming as well. So, the new episode is... Why can I not... One sec. Doctor Who, this is really bad, I know. The Robot Revolution. And of course the main character is Belinda, but we saw the actress play another character in season 1, which was episode 3, I think, called Boom. And that episode, I loved that episode, so bringing that actress back, I was all for it. I don't think we've seen enough of the companion yet for me to go whether I love her or hate her. I'm in the middle at the moment, it can go either way. But the story really revolves around the sense of this girl getting this star and these robots believing that she is their queen because she owns the star, which just clearly, turned into a planet, or was a planet but looked like a star. I don't really know what that story is there, but of course the opening, the prologue to this episode is 17 years before the actual events, so who knows. The story then takes a really weird turn. And this is where I have to question Russell T Davies, okay? So, Russell T Davies, I am now going to go on a bit of a tangent here. He revamped Davros because it was wrong, because the Daleks were like disabled people, right? And I think I've spoken about this a couple of times before. If I haven't, I'll just say my views are keep the Daleks. Disabled people never thought that. And he sort of... I'm about to give away the biggest spoiler for the episode, so if you want to turn off now, turn off. If you haven't seen it, turn off. Or if you don't care, stay on. The biggest spoiler for the episode is in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1... Right. Biggest spoiler of the episode, you've had your warnings, is Alan. Alan is abducted 10 years before Belinda. Now, how did Belinda not know this? Because they abducted him while she was in a space shuttle, but they went back 10 years in time. Timey-wimey stuff, as the Doctor calls it. And anyway, Alan becomes this part man, part robot. And it's like, really? I sort of sat there looking at him thinking, this just seems like... He looked a little bit like Davros to me. A villain that I love in Doctor Who, So, that was a little bit odd. And I think for me, that kind of was like, yeah, okay. So they've just done Davros. Because Davros would have been a brilliant villain for this episode, I think. And these robots, are the new Daleks, essentially. Which I don't think people would have liked, because they don't look like Daleks. But they could have been the start of what that... I don't know. What that sort of looked like. But anyway, I'm getting off track. The episode... overall, I think is good. I don't I don't think it needs another episode to be put on next to it. Like the first season had, of course, Space Babies and Devil Cord. I don't think we need Robot Revolution to have a second episode straight afterwards, because the episode was solid. Was it classic Doctor Who or even classic New Who? And when I say classic New Who, I mean Tennant, Smith and Parter Capaldi. No. The ratings for this are going to be really interesting to see. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Mrs. Flood's story, because she's moved in next to Belinda. And Belinda can't get back to the... to Earth, to her timeline, to any of that, without going through all these scenarios, these upcoming episodes. Which I genuinely think is a little bit like, really? Because you have this great companion. And Russell T Davies has said himself that Millie Gibson's, pleasant to work with. And Ruby's such a good companion. And all these things. And I'm sitting there going, if you liked Ruby so much, but you wanted to tell this story, great. Bring Ruby along. And have this new companion not be a companion, but a mission for them. Got to keep her alive, got to get her back, so that the events of Boom can happen. Because if they don't happen, then a lot changes in that episode and that time. There's all that. I think I'm really done talking about Doctor Who Season 2 Episode 1. I thought it was a charmer. I wasn't doing YouTube back when the first season aired, Ncuti, which is just unfortunate. Because I'd love to see what my review score would have been for that first time round looking at it. But I did think that was pretty abysmal. But this episode, I'd happily give it a 6 out of 10. Like, there is room for improvement. Maybe even 7 out of 10, because there's room for, it's not perfect. And perfect episodes to me are Journey's End, which is, I know that's a 2-part ender, but that was a really good charmer. Rose, I thought, Rose, I think, is how you set up a new companion. You explore, and Russell T Davies did explore Belinda a bit, but I had a connection with Rose like an episode in to that. And I know I said I've seen Rose, but I didn't see Rose. Actually, no, yeah, I would have. So maybe that's why a bit of a connection. But even like Catherine Tate, right? Runaway Bride. That's how you bring a new companion in. You have a bit of mystery. There wasn't any. There's no mystery there. Apparently there is a mystery that clearly I'm not seeing yet. But, because at the end of it, it goes, you have to solve this mystery to get home, or once you're home, you will solve this mystery. And it's like, but what mystery? We saw her abducted, and we know why she was abducted, because of the star. And, we know why this scenario has happened. What we don't know is what's happened to the TARDIS, but that couldn't have been the mystery that was being spoken about in the episode. Because, there's room for improvement, but I do think, like, when Russell T Davies did his first run, Bad Wolf was just something, right? We didn't know Rose was going to be Bad Wolf at the time. And it was like little just Bad Wolf clues, paint spray to the TARDIS and all that. Whereas he's really homed in on mystery. And I don't think Doctor Who needs that. We need fun, wacky adventures with great stories, and then a connecting tissue for the last 2 episodes where you go, oh, so these little occurrences, these little things that we saw throughout this chain of events and episodes is what we get. But yeah, I read something the other day about how they're putting the show on rest for 5 years. I don't know if that's only true, but yeah, 7 out of 10, I'd say, or 6.5 out of 10, if you want to go between the scores of 6 to 7, which I can't really make up my mind. So yeah, 6.5 out of 10. room for improvement, but it was improved on Season 1's opener episode, I believe. Looking forward to the next week's episode. We'll be watching all of this season, and if you want to get reviews, just jump on back here. But with that being said, I'll see you on the next one. As always, like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, stay cinematic. We are going for 100 and... let's go with 150 subscribers by the end of next week, by the 20th of April, because I don't think I'm going to achieve that 48 subscriber goal that we got last month. I don't think we're going to beat that, but I'd love to try. But yeah, no, thank you all for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye for now. Stay cinematic.